Well, first of all, I am Lonnie. I can't even tell you how excited I am to finally put this in place. We have been, this is something that I personally has been on my heart for quite some time now, to really be able to not only one, share the voices and the stories of and inspiration from people that many people may not always get to hear. And of course, when I was really thinking about this and really being able to just create even more of a platform for people to share their stories, who they are, their inspirations, things they're going through, you, Lonnie, were legitimately one of the very first people that came up. And so to kind of like intro you and most so many people know you, but for those of you guys that don't, when I tell you Lonnie Miles is such an inspiration in so many different ways. I got the pleasure of meeting Lonnie way back when we used to rent space in 40 on 47th Street in Hyde Park. Literally when I was someone just trying to figure things out. I knew I had a heart to serve. I knew we wanted to create a movement of transforming lives and healing people and all of that. But to be really honest with you, I didn't really fully know how that was going to come forth. However, when you are graced with the presence of people like Lonnie, well, never forget when she, came into our classes and started taking them. She inspired me in a way of like, yo, I know we're on to something, because this woman would not keep coming around. She wouldn't keep bringing friends. She wouldn't be bringing her mom if there wasn't something to this. So if you can, I would love, because I think you telling your version of where you are, where you were then, is going to be, is such a powerful setup of, and will continue to speak volumes of where you are now. So if you can just share with people kind of where you were in your life at that time.
Sure. So I was in a place where I was sad, depressed, just basically a big ball of a hot mess. And I needed a change, and I needed a change immediately. I was grieving the loss of my brother at the time, and I I know that I am a happy go lucky person. So to be sad, that is not me. And so I knew I needed to make a change, but it started with me first. And so a couple of months prior to actually connecting with you, I had wrote a letter to God just stating that, I needed some help. I needed a change. I don't want to feel like this. I want my oomph back. I want to be happy again. Help me, God. And so one of my Zumba sisters, she was coming to your class, and I thought it was very interesting that she would leave one fireball class to come to another fireball class. And I was just like, oh boy, like this must be amazing, because you got energy to go over there after this class. You crazy. And so one day I decided to come to class and surprise her. And she didn't come to class, but I still went ahead and went. And so I got in this room and I was just like, oh my goodness, who is this little Janet up here dancing and skipping around? And who are all these other people? Like, woo, I'm loving it, okay? And so I was attracted to the energy, and the journey kind of began. I remember you stating that you getting ready to have a transformation program, Create Yourself, that started in the new year, which would have been 2017.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, okay, well, I'm going to do it. This is my change. It starts with me. I'm going to go for the gusto. And so I remember having a heart-to-heart conversation with you, stating how, I had been depressed, and at the time was depressed, and had just gained so much weight, and just lack of confidence, and just really needed something to hold on to, some hope, some love, some joy. So I started the transformation program. Lost my first 10 pounds. And when you lose weight in the beginning, you don't really think or believe that that's enough, because you have this larger goal that you want to get to, right? And so one of my mentors was like, girl, that's like a sack of potatoes. You lost 10 pounds. That's amazing. A lot of people can't even do that, right? And so then I began to change my view and really celebrate myself for that 10 pounds, because that was a lot. I was 288 pounds, and now I'm 6 dress sizes down. Like, that was huge. And so it's like, I can do this. I can do this. I can really do this. So that was the most, exciting, humbling part of my journey when, just getting started, just saying yes to you and no to everything else.
And so I think fast forwarding into now in this season, how can you compare where you are now, what, 3, 4 years later, in comparison to where you were then when you first started this journey, mentally, physically, spiritually, just everything?
Well, now in this season, looking back, I was broken. I was hurt. Um, I didn't at the time know how to forgive, but I learned how to forgive. And I know that forgiveness is never for the person, it's more so healing for
Very
yourself.
true.
So when I started to seek more help, God aligned everything that I ever imagined um, to start to shift. My energy started to shift. My weight started to shift. My mindset started to shift. Um, I started to think about the things that I wanted to accomplish, um, learning how to have a goal and what that goal is and what it can look like in the first 30, 60, 90 days. Like, are things that I've learned over the years. During this season, it's really good to be rooted and grounded in your word. Um, as a change agent, as a entrepreneur, as a encourager, as an intercessor, like, you want to make sure that you're grounded and rooted in the word, because you want your faith to be unwaverable in the long term. If I would have said no, I wouldn't know so many people now, right? If I wouldn't have kept going, I wouldn't have made connections and impact like I have done over the year. And so being able to look back on where I was then versus now, now I get to stand and not only be empowered, but empower others to be their best selves. And it's been a blessing. Um, it's been life changing, not only for me, but for my family. It has helped me be a better citizen, a better daughter, a better inspiration to others.
I think you just hit the nail on the head. Is at the same time, I'm a leader of people, but I have to be able to first give and honestly check in with myself, because we're only as good for others as we are first to ourselves. So what are some things that you have found that have really helped you?
Well, one thing is getting up and having praise and worship with God in the morning. That pretty much sets the tone of the day. And when I don't do it, I know, because everything is just off centered and it's not such a lovely day, but you press to have great days every day. Also, in filling up my cup, my newest tackle, if you will, is running. Literally, I had a limiting belief for years that big girls did not run. Well, I am here to tell you, we out here, okay?
Come
And I am
on, you
one of
better
them.
go.
And so, like, being able to prove to myself that, girl, yes, you can run, and yes, you are running, and yes, you will continue to run and do this, right? It's so fulfilling. It's so um, humbling to be able to prove to myself that I can actually do this. So it's been a year now, and I've been running on the pavement. They always say, when you want to make a change, you got to get with the people that's doing it. Well, I've linked up, with the Beverly Beauties here in Chicago. And when I tell you, like, they have been so supportive and encouraging and, just sharing simple tips. And then this past weekend, I ran 10 miles, and I just I shocked my own self because I only signed up to do 7. It's been so exciting because I've literally proven to myself that yes, you are running, yes, you can do this, and yes, big girls do run because you're doing it, you know. So that's super, super exciting.
You know, you talked about staying in your own lane, and even as you were sharing it, I love that analogy. Like it's almost as if that is in parallel with life. It's like being willing to stay in your own lane, not in comparison, not worrying about what anybody else is doing. However, you also know that you do have the support of this group. You have the support of Beverly Beauties, and you have the support of people, even though inside of all of that, you're still focused on Lonnie and Lonnie's pace and what Lonnie can do, and being committed to being a little bit better, or in being a little bit more determined in what feels good for you. And I think that's so relevant even right now, because there's so much. It's like, do this, share this, post this, don't do this, eat this, have this. So and so's doing this, so then that's why so and so's doing this. So I need to be. It's like we get so stuck in either following or filling up. We got to catch up with everybody. But what I'm hearing from you is just the power of being clear on what your goal is, being clear on what your focus is, and being clear on what fuels you, and staying in your lane, knowing that you also have the support of other people. So I think that's such a powerful message. So really, to kind of wrap this up, so kind of two questions. One, what advice would you give to people that are honestly just trying to take their first step? Because I'm hearing kind of two things, and I know that you maybe can attest to both. One, especially in talking to so many women, I think because we're natural nurturers, caregivers, like we're always mindful of making sure that everyone around us is good, and that can sometimes bring on a feeling of guilt or not doing enough for everyone and everything when it comes to then prioritizing us inside of that. What would you say to someone that may be feeling guilty in taking that time to be able to do something for themselves?
All I can tell you is to do it. It's just important and it's vital. I once, because I'm a lead literally in every area of my life, um, I used to feel guilty about doing stuff for me, right? But when you think about it, you work too hard, so many hours, pumping and hustling and bustling to get things done, right? And it's a must. It's vital and important, male or female. It's vital and important that you do something for you. You work too hard not to love on you first. And if you don't, you literally deteriorate inside out. Sometimes outside in, depending upon the person. It's just not a healthy space to be in. And you want to make sure inside and out that you're working on your best health for you. So being able to do things that excite you, whether that's going for a walk or, going to get pampered or spending time with family, because you don't get to do that so often because you're always at work working, right? You want to make sure that you have that time for you. You have to set it aside. It's no other way to live and keep moving and grooving the way that you are if you don't. So you have to choose you. And in choosing you, you do something that's good for you every day, no matter what it is. Smart, whether it's 5 minutes of meditation or, just being able to go outside and get some fresh air, going to get some ice cream, going to get your favorite whatever. You got to do it for you because you only get to live once. And everything that you do in your dash time from birth to death is vital and important, and you get to, impact so many people. So what's going to be your dash?
Yes, I love that. All right, so look, so many good nuggets, but look, one last question. What does the future look like for Lonnie Miles? We heard where, and not even so much where you started, but at least along this journey, where you were. We hear where you are now, but what's next for you?
Um, my next level of greatness, just really walking into the purpose and design that God has for my life. I know that, I am meant to be an encourager. I know that I am meant to be a safe space, for people. And so being able to um, figure out what that next level of greatness is, and walking in that, knowing that that impact and that inspiration, because I'm saying yes to myself,